and then let's say like start modeling your elevation views and then extrude to the level you see fit and create your model. But there are multiple like 3D CAD tools for offered by Autodesk, such as the Revit, that makes the high-rise modeling even more easier. So it is not that you cannot model high-rise structure in AutoCAD. It is that it is slightly difficult and not so efficient modeling AutoCAD 3D, like let's say like to include high-rise structure in AutoCAD. People prefer mostly to use AutoCAD Revit or Autodesk Revit to make high-rise modeling in AutoCAD. So we will be discussing how to use a 3D CAD tool that will help us modeling the multi-level high-rise structure in a short while, just to cover your question. So we will learn how it is easier to use a 3D CAD tool in contrast to AutoCAD to provide or like to innovate or like improvise our modeling in like to make it simpler. Like we all want the modeling to be as simple as possible, so we don't have to sit and draw too many drawings into like to make too many revisions and multiple views. And AutoCAD has a particular limitation that you will have to the modeling aspect in AutoCAD is quite complicated. It is not that you cannot model, you will have to model it, define it as a group or a block, and then you will have to reuse it in multiple files. And it involves so much effort when you create a multiple high-rise structure for the first time. But for example, if you use a different 3D CAD tool like Revit, it has been simplified for you. It is like we will see how it is simplified for you while using a different 3D CAD tool.
Thank you so much, Girish. So there's another question from Baumika. It's like, is it possible to design apartment using AutoCAD?
Design apartment. Yes, you can design like anything, starting from buildings to traffic plans or a water pipe network, or if you're an electrical engineer, if you're designing conduits, or if you're a mechanical engineer, you're producing shop drawings for machine drawings to be manufactured, you can use AutoCAD to produce any type of drawings. You have MEP AutoCAD, MEP discipline using AutoCAD, civil people using AutoCAD, structural engineering people using AutoCAD, architecture people using layout drawings for AutoCAD. So AutoCAD, you can create multiple drawings. AutoCAD is nothing but is a drafting space. The drawing you draw on a paper, you create those drawings in the computer space. That is AutoCAD. It is a drafting tool, and you can design apartment is quite technical, because to design an apartment you need like to check for the loads, or you need to check for the material, you need to check for if it is meeting the budget. Those are the design parameters. So what you do in AutoCAD is you draw the apartment, you create a conceptual view of the apartment, and then you make sure, okay, this view is covered in my drawing. And like technically, like this particular is not a 360-degree view of design and drawing. So when we look at a 3D CAD tool like a Revit, we will see how it is linked to design and drawing in a short while. I can quickly show it to you by opening the same software. So if the same way you installed AutoCAD, Revit also offers a student version if you don't have the license yet. So if you are a student or a teacher, it lets you to access the student version of Revit. That lets you to access the 3D CAD tool. So let me quickly show it to you as we are approaching the end of today's workshop session. How this is a same product developed by the same company, Autodesk, but it has conceptualized itself to like an additional stage compared to the AutoCAD. So if you see the same drawing that we have created in AutoCAD, we have developed it to create in Revit. And how simple it is for us to create the same drawing, and how realistic it appears for us to create these drawings. Yeah, so if you remember, this is the plan view that we created in our AutoCAD window. You can recall it. This is the same plan view that we have created in AutoCAD window. But if you see in Revit, you can see the multiple detailed elements that we can add it to it. We can control the view settings. So like they have a curtain wall, which clearly when you look at this model, you can say that, yeah, this looks like a glass front building, and we have added details such as doors, windows to this building. But for example, if you go to an AutoCAD, let's say like you will have to render these drawings to add information. So for example, if I want to change this, uh, here the wall is concrete. If I want this annotation symbol refers that this is a layer defining a masonry wall. So if I want to change this wall to a glass panel, I will have to delete this block and redraw the glass panels to indicate the glass panel walls. But in case if it is Revit, all I need to do is select this particular wall and change the type to generic 8-inch masonry wall. I just need to select from the selection tab. I don't have to go redraw the model, set attributes, set properties, and it like AutoCAD is nothing but like you have to do it as a process to define the attributes and then use it in the model. But it is not that you cannot model it in AutoCAD. You can definitely model the same in AutoCAD, but the effort you take to model the same is very much minimum in Revit. For example, Revit offers you to model the walls, doors, window, or you can place certain components, or you can place columns, or you can model the roof by footprint or ceilings. For example, if you want to model the roof, yes, and then if you select the boundary line, you can select, and it automatically selects roof for me. Then I can adjust it to click apply and click OK. You can see that, okay, I can do this by selecting or adjusting the boundary lines. And when I click OK, this is going to create certain parameters for me. It has defined a boundary space. Instead of like I make the same drawing like I do in AutoCAD, but I define the boundary line here. So for example, if I want to adjust the floor layout, I can go to the floor plans and then I can select a wall and I can delete it. And then if you go back to the 3D view, the change has automatically been reflected in my parameter. I don't have to recreate. I don't have to come to the plan view again to make sure that I have to delete the rooms again in the plan view, and then I have to remodel it in the 3D view like in AutoCAD. AutoCAD, the difficulty with it is you will have to make certain revisions time and again, and it may be difficult for you because it is occupying time. But Revit is easier because it offers you so much user-friendly feature to create these icons. And then along with it, why do we call it like design? You can design it here because you can design boundary conditions, you can design the load cases, and then you can perform analysis of the building to see, okay, this is my analytical model, and then you can perform analysis on this building and then see if this building is working for the perspective of staying. If it doesn't work, you will have to redesign the apartment or redesign the office space. So if with AutoCAD, you might have to import it to set an analytical model, and then you will have to perform analysis in that, and then verify the results. And then based on the results, you will have to make changes again. It is like you're going forth, going backward time and again, and then it is taking time. To minimize the time, Autodesk had like developed certain softwares that like integrates everything, analysis, coordination. it not only coordinates architecture structure, so you can use a system to place an electrical equipment, device, lighting fixture, or a cable tray, or a plumbing fixture in your model. So these have been automatically loaded. So you can place plumbing fixtures in your model. In AutoCAD, you will have to create a group. For example, if you remember in the design drawing, we had to create a group for the door, and then we had to create separate doors for different widths and dimension, and then we placed it across around our model. But with AutoCAD, we don't have that. Revit, we don't have that complexity. It is already loaded, and we can place these plumbing fixtures as we see necessary, and we can place all these elements in the same model. It is nothing but the process has been done by the user-friendly person already, and all we are doing is using Autodesk products to minimize our efforts in producing clean and error-free drawings. So this is essential because it lets you quantitate a certain schedule. So for example, you can create a schedule quantities. You can schedule the like for example walls, and then click OK, and then click area. You can calculate the area, you can calculate the cost, you can calculate the heat transfer coefficient, you can calculate the model to estimate your project, or you can calculate the estimated reinforcement volume, and click OK. So what you can see is, yeah, it creates a parameter for me, like based on the area of the walls occupied in the model. And then when I make revisions to my 3D model space, all I can see is these revisions are reflected in my schedule quantities. So when we produce drawings, the ultimate goal is to calculate schedules, provide estimate, provide budget, cost, all like we need to think about a 360-degree perspective of the design and drawing. So this is why Autodesk Revit calls it as a building information modeling tool, or it provides information on the building that you model. While AutoCAD, I won't call it, it is not parametric, it is innovating to be parametric, but it is quite complex compared to a easy and simpler CAD tool like Revit. So if you are a beginner, if you are using CAD tools for the beginning, Autodesk or AutoCAD is the first tool that you want to master or begin with. So if you master all your tools in AutoCAD, you understand the concept, how it works, how the blocks work, how the attribute works. And then when you come to Revit, an advanced tool like Revit, you can control the categories. Like you don't have to create groups anymore. You have created groups for you already. So for example, if you come to groups, you have created detail groups, model groups, or if you have families, you have column families, rectangular column, and then you have like different instances, like we mentioned, you have 18 by 18 column, 18 by 24 column, or 24 by 24 column. So it has like in AutoCAD, you will have to manually create these groups and attributes, or you will have to load the block that has been already defined by someone for you while modeling. While AutoCAD, like Revit, offers you like the user friendly feature of Revit offers you to use the same features time and again, and minimizes your modeling efforts and saves time and helps you in providing efficient and innovative design time and again. So that is the comparing and contrasting feature of using a like 2D CAD features of AutoCAD to a 3D CAD feature of Revit. So yeah, I think we have covered most of the topics I had for today's discussion.